Time for what?
Time for what?
Experience in college.
Time for reinforcement.
Time for liftoff!
Where nothing is impossible unless you think it is impossible.
College.
I have my college scholarship.
Yes.
Boom.
College ran by real fast.
You hung in with the best college.
First time for everything.
Well, what are you waiting for?
What are you waiting for?
Let's do this thing.
Genius, let's do this thing!
Welcome to the show, everyone. We are here today at a workshop, aka Magis Bootcamp, and we're going to get the best advices from students to talk about their experiences and tips about how to be determined, how to get motivated, focused to complete their applications. So, what are your tips?
My tips so far is that it's important to listen to what Ms. Vaccaro is saying, because, like she says, everything she says is important stuff. So I think that you got to get your work done. Personally, I get distracted, I guess, easily. So, but I still feel like that I've accomplished like a lot of work. Like I've gone almost all my UC application done, all my Common App done, and now all I have to worry about now is just writing it. So I guess just finding time to like do your work. Just finding the right time, or just to know when the right time is to mess around, know when the right time is to like do your work, I guess.
Now,
so
I get distracted a lot too. So what have been tips that even during the school year, like when you had a big paper to do, how do you get to sit down and do the writing? Because sometimes I will want to binge watch Netflix versus writing. So what do you do?
Well, I'm a big procrastinator. So, I kind of leave everything to the last minute most of the time, but when I don't, what I like to do, so what personally gets me focused is just like music, I guess. So just putting my AirPods in, just listening to music, and then just like sitting down at a desk. I don't think you should be lying down anywhere. You should sit down at a desk, open up to like the screen that, you have all your applications on or assignments or whatever, and you just, like, even if you don't get everything out right away, I guess, eventually it'll come to you, Like, I remember when I wrote, like, my first couple UC personal insight questions a couple of weeks ago, or like a week ago, something like that. And I'm pretty sure in the afternoon, I was, like, sitting in front of my screen for just, like, that, like, half hour, just staring at it. And eventually I just gave up and just went out with my friends. And I feel like that can happen to a lot of people. So when I came back home later that night, I was like, okay, I got to get this done. Because I also think a big part of it is that my mom kind of pushed me too. She made me set a deadline. That deadline was the next day for me to get at least one done. So I think that's also a big part, is setting deadlines for yourself and just getting it done. Because if you set a deadline, you will get it done, because your brain kind of works that way, I guess.
No.
So,
I work with deadlines. Like I don't allow myself to read comic books until I finish my deadlines as well as too. So what's your next deadline? My
next deadline, I think it's just getting all my UC prompts done, like all my drafts, or just getting them all done, like all my writing done. I said I want to be in like a really, really good place by around my birthday, which is September 14th.
Oh, happy future birthday.
Yeah. So that's like kind of my target date for having them in a really good place. And then I want to have them like all done, all completely, like me satisfied by October 1st.
Beautiful.
So when CSU's open. So that's kind of just like what I've done, and I know that'll help me in the future, because it's a deadline, and even if I procrastinate on it, my brain will warn me, tell me just get it done, and eventually that'll happen. But like I said, I also think it's a big part of like your environment and what's around you that helps you focus, so if you know that, like, if music helps you focus, and you go play that music, or if like silence, maybe your house is loud, and you go maybe like find a park or something like that, or I don't know, it's just things like that. Just like,
no, I think you know more than you do know. Perfect advice. And then if you don't have a Miss Vaccaro or someone like your mom, find somebody that's like to give you reminders as well too.
Yeah, like even your friends too. Yeah, I think your friends are a big help in that type of thing too, because they're in the same boat as you.
They are.
So it's like, if you see them doing work, you'll do your work too. I think that's kind of what's also big.
That's huge. Thank you so much. So you just finished a week-long application process for both UC, Common App, all these different ones, Cal States. Still a lot of work to do, correct?
Yeah.
So how are you going to get this work done while being a senior and doing all this school work and college application?
I'm going to find time to put my extracurriculars aside, because I know what's important for me, and just put my head down and do it.
Now, do you have a schedule that you kind of thought of, or just like you're just going to just focus on school and then just your applications?
For now, I haven't put down a schedule, but I probably will during the school year.
Now, you have some friends who have some activities they have to do, like in the fall. What tips are you giving them?
Stay calm, stay focused, and realize what the big goal is in life, and what the big goal is to finish out your high school career.
Now, I noticed too during the workshop that we did, you played online digital chess game. Am I correct?
Yeah.
So would you agree it's important to take some breaks?
Yeah,
okay.
100%.
Now, how did you take a break so you're not doing it for 2 or 5 hours versus just for a few minutes?
Go outside or play a chess game, or maybe talk to your friends, or if you like playing video games, go play a video game for 20 minutes and go right back to it.
Now, I don't know about you, but if I'm playing video games with my sons, we'll be playing for hours.
Yeah.
So can you really do you put a timer or a alarm?
Yeah, I put a timer on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And any other words of wisdom that you have?
Just know you're not alone in doing this college process, and there's people around you, and there's good resources on YouTube and a lot of other good resources at school, so you're not alone in this process.
Thank you. And what are your favorite YouTube sites?
I don't have a favorite channel, but if I am struggling in one aspect, I'll look the specific topic up, and I'm sure something will pop up.
Yeah, so whether it's from the college, but there's also SI College Counseling channel too. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, so I just finished a Magis Bootcamp, but we all have a lot more applications to do, right? There's financial aids, there's essays, applications. What are some tips you have for other seniors, how to get them motivated to get it done?
I think one thing that you can really think about when doing applications, or if you just have free time, is just to think that there's always something to do. There's always something. You can go on an application, you could watch a YouTube video, you could fill out a form, anything. There's a ton of work to do on the applications, and I feel like there's always a time that you could be doing something.
Yeah.
I've definitely learned that through here, that I've seen how much there is to do on all the different applications.
Now, it's a lot. Now, you're starting school next week, the end of next week. So how are you going to balance it all with schoolwork, activities, friend, family, commute, and the applications?
Yeah, I think one thing I'm definitely going to have to do is just sacrifice some of my weekends and just go, once I get home Friday after school, just start working on it and just try to knock out as much as I can every weekend. I think that's definitely something I'm going to be doing. And, just making sure that that's really my top priority.
Okay, now are you doing that? Because I know a lot of students do homeworks on the weekend.
Yeah.
So are you sacrificing your entire weekend, or like Saturday daytime, I'm going to do some work, have some fun, and then Sunday do homework?
Yeah, I think I'm more saying just like, if I don't have anything planned for that weekend, maybe just taking like a weekend off from like hanging out with friends or something, and just focusing on homework, studying, and filling out my applications.
Okay, it's a little balance. It's kind of hard, right? It makes me kind of sad that you say you have to sacrifice hanging out with friends. Yeah. I know.
I know that we have so many weeks in the year, and we just had summer, so
that's right.
I just think of that as kind of my fun time.
No, it is. And then what about the essay process? Because I noticed that's where most students get stuck. Like, whether let's say it's a Saturday, it's like, God, I'm just not motivated, or I don't know what to write with. What are some thoughts or suggestions about that?
I think that's something that's helped me, especially coming from someone who did a ton of middle school applications for high school. I kind of think that with all the essays and short answers, it's good to just, even if you sit down and you're like, I don't know what to put down, I have no idea what to write about, just kind of brainstorm and maybe just kind of throw some thoughts down with zero fear of failure, and not really worrying what you're writing, because it's going to be a draft, whatever you're writing now. So just kind of getting stuff down to work with, and you can always edit and have someone look at it and kind of build off of whatever ideas that you're putting down, because whatever initial ideas that you just brainstorm down are probably like your rawest thoughts, and I feel like it's a lot easier for someone who you're editing with to work off of that than having nothing and just having to brainstorm from scratch with someone.
Now, Diego, who else are you thinking about? Like, who are your editors and stuff like that to help you to kind of like get that raw information?
I definitely think that after I definitely spend some time with my new English teachers, and they see my starting work, maybe with our first essay on like our summer reading book that we read, and we have like we usually have an essay right at the like first 2 weeks of school. And once I think I get a connection with my English teacher, and when she gets an idea for my writing, I might have to ask them to help me, maybe if they have some free time, just to see if they can review it and see if they see like any errors or anything that I can kind of work with, because I basically just want to make sure that they know my writing and see like where I can improve and where I can avoid mistakes. And of course now Ms. Ficaro, maybe some drop-in time to review a college essay, and also my parents. parents. I've utilized my parents just reading an essay with my parents. And I mean, my parents have a lot of knowledge, and they've seen me grow up. They've seen my vocabulary. They've seen my dialogue my whole entire life. So they know really what I sound like and my most authentic self, like with an essay.
Oh, yeah. And that's the key word everyone uses, authentic self. Yeah. And I love that thing about, what did you say, zero fear for failure.
Yeah, fear of failure.
Yeah. There's no perfect essay. It's just your statement.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yep.
So what are your tips for seniors? You're getting ready. Applications are out. High school is out. How are you going to do it all?
I would say just scheduling and kind of discipline and sticking to that schedule is a really good idea. That's what I plan on doing. And that's kind of what I did this summer, just having things like having deadlines and like sticking to those, just planning it out so you can get it all done, I guess.
Okay, now true confession time. Did you meet all those deadlines?
Oh, absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Okay, so out of like 50% you did, 190%, 10%?
Like 45, 30.
I love honesty. That'd be better than mine. I think mine's like 1%. So what do you do now? Because like the summer, like every time I have seniors that go, oh, I have summer. I got summer. I don't have to start doing this junior year. And then it's like, holy fudge. And then you realize all the stuff you need to do. So how are you revamping your schedule for the regular school year, especially in the fall?
Yeah. So this year especially, I have a lot going on. Just like taking on more stuff. So really just utilizing my free time. I've talked to some people who have already graduated and asked for their advice, but utilizing my free time, utilizing the weekends that I don't really have anything to do, and just kind of knocking things out a little bit at a time, because I can't do everything in like one sitting. I feel like that wouldn't really be healthy for my brain or whatever. But yeah, just like using my free time, taking breaks when I need them, and then just doing a little bit at a time, I guess.
Yeah. Now, you just said to me, you're doing more.
Oh, yeah.
And you have more applications. So are you eliminating anything that you are not really passionate about? Okay, so you are decreasing certain things. So how do you help other seniors who are parents who are listening to this podcast to understand like what to cut out of your activity list and what not to? Like I tell them, like, if you're not passionate, not do it. But so many kids think like, I have to because of college application. I'm like, you have to take care of yourself. That's what you need to do. So what advice do you have for them?
Yeah, for sure. I would say really think about what you've done over the past 2 or 3 years, however long you've been here, and think about what has most contributed to your either personal growth or your like true happiness. And if there's something that isn't really contributing or like only contributing a little bit, then just cut it out or at least decrease it a little bit, because in the end, you want to be like the happiest you can be, and you want to get whatever you need to get done and be productive. And if something's not really adding to that happiness or adding to that satisfaction, then it's kind of just taking up space that you could use for something else that either brings you joy or things that you need to get done.
Yeah, and not be afraid to tell friends and adults. Yeah, I'm talking to you, parents and guardians and teachers. Well, maybe not assignments, but you know those teachers are like, oh, can you do this activity? Can you do that? Right? To say no, right?
Exactly.
That means you're saying yes to you.
Exactly. That's perfect.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
So we had a couple of tips given, and I'm sure you have some in the back of your pocket. But what I want to ask you is, which rarely people talk about, is the stress level that college applications bring.
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Even before college application, high school is stressful as it is.
You are 100% correct.
Yeah. And hopefully, school and friends are less, but I think that's stressful too, right?
Yes.
So now college applications are coming, and I know you had some benefits talking to other people about how to deal with the stress that comes to any student out there on the application process. So what are some advice you have?
I think some advice, one, is to make sure you're getting sleep. Like, there's a point in the night that the work is no longer going to be productive and you still have your phone. And I think another thing is your phone can be very distracting. So I think I or what I do is I set my phone to the side when I'm doing work, and I do intervals. So I do give myself breaks. I think breaks are very, very important so you don't sit through like a whole 2-hour session without at least looking away, like you said. That's one tip. And I think another tip is also to stay organized. Like for me, I use a planner and I have my own little system. So that is how I have all my assignments. And it's not just a planner. I also use timers, like Google Calendar, and just with Gmail and all of that. So I make sure I understand every single thing that I'm going to do for the day, and I set a little schedule, but I also remember to stay grounded and to make sure I'm not all over the place when I'm coming to school, because that's just not going to end up being a good day.
And then stress just sometimes comes, right? I tell, like, your college counselors may say, okay, you have to do X, Y, and Z, and Z, and I'm like, what language are you talking about? Right? Or you hear some gossip. Oh, so-and-so just got in, and you're like, huh? Already? What's going on? So how are you going to deal with all that type of stuff?
I think for one, I'm trying not to compare myself to like other people here, because that is so important. Although I know it's easier said than done, because you are your own person and you have your own accomplishments just as other people have. And not comparing yourself to others does not mean you can't be happy for a friend. That's totally different. And I think it's important to know that you put in all your effort and you cannot control the result, but you can only control like the work you put in. So I always remind myself that, and don't over stress over something that you have already put in all your time and effort into.
No, it sounds like you do some positive affirmations to yourself.
Yes.
So what are some things that you say to give some suggestions to other people?
I tell myself that I am loved, I am worthy, I am deserving, and I am rested, I am ready for whatever it is to come, and I have put in my time and effort, so whatever happens, and it is okay, and I will still be loved by my family no matter what happens to me, and no matter whatever the world throws at me, I'm not in it alone. I have my friends, my family, my counselors, my teachers, and the support system doesn't end there. So.
No, and that's true, right? Like we had some alumni you guys met with today, and one of them went to a very small Jesuit school, not very, it's not one of those highly selected schools, and then got her master's at Georgetown, now kicking butt in DC.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, oh my God, yes. And she even told me like you did like 2 study abroads.
Awesome.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So she had an amazing time. So, right, this is just a short part of your story, not your end story, right? So key about knowing that. And then we actually had a conversation with Sister Sharon here, who talked about no more spinning. You want to explain to everyone what that means, no more spinning?
Yeah, no more spinning just kind of means stop comparing yourself. You don't gain anything, you just gain more stress, which no one wants and no one needs, especially at this point in the school year, and just with college apps and just with school in general, with friends and all of that we've mentioned. There's no need to keep comparing yourself, and it's also an unhealthy practice that should never be repeated. And I think, no more spinning. Just be focused on yourself and be proud for one another and celebrate one another in support, not in comparison.
No, and I remember she's also like talking about like overthinking it and stuff. Like I see some seniors right now looking at scattergrams. I'm like, okay, it's either you're applying there or not.
You're not. Exactly.
Get over it, put the application, and then whoever denies you, their loss.
Yes.
Just prove them wrong.
Yes.
And who is fortunate to have you, let's have some fun. Okay, and you want to end with some more positive affirmations? I think it was great, the ones you shared.
Be grounded in who you are. Don't change yourself for other people, but be mindful of how you affect other people. And I think one more thing is stay involved. Don't take too much time for yourself, because it is important to live life and to also be out in the world. So make sure that you're doing all those things and taking care of yourself as well.
Thank you so much. And as our motto goes here from these workshops is can't stop,
won't stop.
Thank you for listening to SI Counseling Podcast, where we help our students strive to respond courageously to the opportunities and challenges of our time.